Hello, friend. We are back to read some more of the book. And if you enjoy my reading you stories and books, please subscribe to my channel and follow me and give me a thumbs up if you like it. We're reading from The Complete Brambly Hedge by Jill Barklin, say her name right. And we've read the autumn story and the summer story, so now we're going to read the winter story. So here we go. It was the middle of winter. The sun had just set, and it was very, very cold. An icy wind was blowing from the east, and the wind promised snow. Deep in the dark roots of Brambly Hedge, tiny lights appeared as lamps were lit in the windows. More little lights could be seen leaving the store stump, moving hastily along the hedgerow and disappearing into the holes hidden in the twisty roots. The mice had smelled snow in the air and were all hurrying home to a nice hot supper by the fire. Definitely looks barren like winter. And the sky looks all blustery and gray. Definitely looks like it could snow. Mr. Apple, warden of the store stump, was the last to leave for home. By the time he reached Crabapple Cottage, the first flakes were beginning to fall. "Is that you, dear?" cried Miss Apple as he let himself in through the front door. Delicious smells wafted down from the kitchen. Mrs. Apple had spent the afternoon baking pies and cakes and puddings for the cold days to come. Sounds like my kind of day, baking. She drew 2 armchairs up by the fire and brought in supper on a tray. So there's Mr. Apple coming in the door with the snow. And there they are by the warm, cozy fire. That definitely does look warm and cozy, doesn't it? And look at his little feet sticking out by the fire to keep him warm. Too cute. There was a lot of noise coming from the hornbeam tree next door. The Toadflax children had never seen snow before. "It's snowing! It's really snowing!" squeaked the 2 boys, Wilfred and Teasel, and they chased their sisters Clover and Catkin around the kitchen with pawful of snow scooped from the windowsill. "Supper time!" called Mrs. Toadflax, firmly ladling hot chestnut soup into 4 small bowls. That does look like a little busy little kitchen with all those little people. Or I guess they're little mice. Running around all happy and excited. After supper, the children were sent off to bed, but they were far too excited to sleep. As soon as the grown-ups were safely occupied downstairs, they climbed out of their bunk beds to watch the snowflakes falling past the window. "Tobogganing tomorrow," said Wilfred. "Snow pancakes for tea," said Clover. "We'll make a snow mouse," said Catkin. "And I'll knock it down," said Teasel, pushing the girls off their chair. Look at their cute little house, all the different little layers of where they live, and snow's falling on the ground. And there they are, peeping outside to see what's going on. The next morning, the mice along the hedgerow woke up to find their windows half blocked by snow. Mrs. Apple had to stand on tiptoes on the kitchen table to see out. What a sight met her eyes! The fields were covered with thick, white blanket of snow, and all the paths and plants had disappeared beneath it. Wow! That is definitely a lot of snow, especially if you're a tiny mouse. When the Toadflax family went down to breakfast, they found the kitchen dark and still. Miss Toadflax put fresh wood on the fire and set Clover to work with the toasting fork. Soon they were all sitting around the table eating hot buttered toast, drinking blackberry leaf tea, and making plans for the day. The snow was thicker than the mice had expected, and all the downstairs windows along the hedgerow were covered with snow, and many of the upper ones, too, were hidden in deep drifts. The mice leaned out of their bedroom windows to wave and call to friends. "Enough for a snowball, wouldn't you say?" called Mr. Toadflax to Mrs. Apple. "A snowball," echoed the mice gleefully. So there they are, toasting their toast for breakfast and wiping off the snow so they can see. Every family along the hedgerow kept shovels, maps, and ropes in a special cupboard by the front door, and after breakfast the mice dug tunnels from tree to tree, linking them all to the store stump. Wilfred and Teasel were sent down to help, but they soon found that it was much more fun to throw snow at each other, and so they were sent home again. Lord Woodmouse dug his way through to the old Mrs. Eyebright and helped her to light a fire. "I haven't seen snow like this since I was young," she sighed. "The last snowball was held in a year Mr. Eyebright and I were married. I'm the only one left who can remember it now." When the tunnels were finished, all the mice gathered noisily in the store stump. So there they are up above. How deep the snow is. Look at how deep it is. And here they are down here making their little snow tunnels so they can hang out with their friends. Mrs. Apple took some seed cake from the cupboard and prepared a jug of acorn coffee. The mice helped themselves and gathered round Mr. Apple, who held up a paw for silence. "Lord Woodmouse and I have agreed," he said when they were quiet. that we shall follow in the tradition of our forefathers. He cleared his throat nervously, straightened his whiskers, and recited, "When the snows are lying deep, and when the field is gone to sleep, when the black corn turns to white, and frosty stars bejewel the night, when summer streams are turned to ice, a snowball warms the hearts of mice. Friends, I declare the snowball will take place at dusk tonight in the ice hall." "Where's that?" whispered Clover as the mice clapped and cheered. "Wait and see," said Mrs. Apple. "You come home with me and help prepare the feast." So look at all the busy activities. Wow. And they've got quite the store of food. It looks like a great place. Oh, they're constructing the ice hall for the ball. There was a deep drifted snowbank against the store stump, and the elder mice, after discussion, declared it to be just right for the ice hall. Mr. Apple dug the first tunnel to check the snow was firm. "It's perfect," he called back from the middle of the drift, and the ice picked up their shovels and the digging began. The snow was dug from inside the drift, piled into carts, and taken down to the stream. Wilfred and Teasel helped enthusiastically, but they were sent home again when Mr. Apple caught them putting icicles down Catkin's dress. The little of the drift was carefully hauled out, and Mr. Apple inspected the roof quite thoroughly to make sure that it was safe. "Safe as a store stump," he declared. Oh, and there's a little, instead of a snowman, it's a mice man. All the kitchens along Brambly Hedge were warm and busy, and hot soup and punches and puddings and bubbled in the ovens. Pies browned and sizzled. Clover and Catkin helped Miss Atkins string crab apples to roast over the fire. The boys had to sit and watch because they'd ate too many. "It's not that I mind, dears, but we must have some for the punch." So look at that kitchen, busy making yummy treats for their ball. Love the big fireplace. Wow! The glowworms were hung in charge of the lighting. Mr. Toadflax fetched them early from the bank at the edge of the hedge, for Mrs. Apple had insisted that they should have a good supper before their long night's work began. By tea time, the hall was finished, and the ice columns and carvings sparkled in green-blue light, and the polished dance floor shone. Tables were set at the end of the hall, and eager cooks bustled in from the kitchens with baskets of food. The children decorated a small raised platform with sprays of holly, while Basil, the keeper of the hedgerow wines, set out some chairs for the musicians, and when all that was done, the mice admired their handiworks and went home to change. Look at the hall. Wow. How pretty is that? As muffs and mufflers were left at the door, it was clear that all the mice had dressed up for the grand occasion. Wilfred and Teasel crept under the table to watch, and every now and then a little paw appeared and a cream cake disappeared. Uh-oh. Basil struck up a jolly tune on his violin, and the dancing began. And all the dances were very fast and twirly, and made even faster by the slippery ice floor. Wilfred and Teasel whirled their sisters around so quickly their paws left the ground. "I don't feel very well," said Clover, looking rather green. Look at all the dancing and twirling. Happy, happy. Mrs. Apple stood on a chair and banged two saucepan lids together. "Supper is served," she called. Wow, look at that. And there's everybody in the ice hall getting some treats and their fancy attire. The eating and drinking and dancing carried on late into the night, and at midnight all the hedgerow children were taken home to bed. As soon as they were safely tucked in by their parents, they returned to the ball. Basil made some hot blackberry punch, and the dancing got faster and faster. Holy smokes. Look at, all tucked in. And look at how fast that dancing is. Goodness, goodness. The snowball went until dawn, and the musicians were tired. The ice columns began to drip, and the sleepy mice could dance no more. They wandered home through the snow tunnels, climbed the stairs, and crept into their warm beds. Outside the window, the snow had started to fall again, but every mouse in Brambly Hedge was fast asleep. So there they all are, tucked into their beds. And that is the end of the winter tale. I think tomorrow, next time, we will go on to the spring story, since I kind of skipped that because I wanted to start with summer. So we will backtrack and read spring. But thank you for listening, and I hope you have a good day.